Inisiki inano oshikiti wawa. Musolo kotisi shi wawa. Shiribi ababa ACC isoko osala atikem amita. Ibilika donado kore takasikiton bunkong water. I have given man water, that in all the ways that he sees it expands beyond his view. And wherever man stands on the shores of the land and looks at the expanse of water, he knows that it stretches beyond his eyes can see. God gave man water that he may come to know that it carries within it a unique power, and that the power of water that is of God is a power that is everywhere on earth. Wherever man is, he seeks water. And he seeks water because he needs the power of water in order that he may survive. Every living thing requires the power of water in order that it may survive. And when man did not understand why water is given everywhere and to fall from above, it is because he has no way of recognizing that water carries the weight of God, that is the power of God that goes onto and into man. These things we shared with the children that they could never remember. And it matters not what fluids you drink. Every fluid is of water. And when the children of God knew these things, the children of your God knew that they could drink anything and receive the power of God in water, and that every way they would live the righteous life, water would always give to them that which is in the pure power of God unto them. We say to you that man has no memory of what it is that he was taught. And in the absence of his memory, he was always fishing in the dark for the things that he could not have known. In every age that man came and left, he was never wiser than when he came in. For that which bears the truth of God was not what man was given to receive. And man followed the wayward ways of every man, and no man followed the ways of his own God. We taught the children that in the creation of all things, your God brought forth God from God. The God that is brought forth from God, that become God, was what man calls his spirit. And so the spirit that is unseen is the unseen God that was first created. And then God spoke to the God that came forth from God. And God gave the God to see and to know how it is like its own source. And so the Spirit that is God was commanded to make itself visible. And so the Spirit that is God manifested itself in the visible, seen form that is called man. And everywhere that man saw the way that all men live, they also see that which was the unseen God that is returned. When many said, we saw the spirit or we saw the ghost of this person. And what they did not realize is that which they were given to know. As it was in the beginning, so it will be in the end. If you see your spirit or the spirit of someone who has passed from this way, you know that that spirit is what was the God that was created in the beginning. And there was no way that man was reasoning that if the seen self disintegrates beneath the ground and the unseen self remains to show that it exists, then man, the physical self, is not the true self, and that there is an unseen that is your true self. We say to you that in teaching and preaching the gospel of truth, you would bring to the consciousness of the children the way in which they were always in the dark. For when we said it to them, there is nothing other than God. Everything is God, for God is the all that there is. We were saying to them that you, that is the real you, is all that you are. For the unseen you created the seen you, and the seen you creates all that you see outside of you. And so your father and your mother wanted the children to remember that they are always ongoing aspects of creation. For if the God that is the unseen you created and manifested you in this way, and you in this seen way is able to create and manifest other things in the seen way, then you are manifesting the way in which God is able to make everything possible. So in essence, every possibility exists within you as you, because every possibility exists in God as God. We show them it is the same way that they are able to create from themselves in the unity of the masculine and the feminine power force, that which is of themselves. And every creature does the same thing. Every plant and herb and shrub does the same thing. It produces from itself that which becomes itself. And these things, God says to you, son, they have eyes, but yet they do not see. That there is a continuation of all things through that which originally exists in the unseen, that is known as God. And so you must let our children know why you say to them, you do not die. You do not die. For the children are always sobbing and tearing up and crying and shouting and breaking down and all manner of things. When they see that the usefulness of the seen self is finished, that the true self takes on a different journey and is always working in a higher purpose. And these things were never ever remembered by God's children. You are eternal beings, perpetuating over and over again in an evolving consciousness of self that takes you higher and higher and higher. And so you must tell them the reason that you have not been able to evolve as quickly as you should have in this dimension, it is because you, like every other tribe lesser than yourself, pursuing things outside of yourself, created from yourself, lesser than yourself, as the things you really want. God says, why? Why? Is it not from you? Is it not from the seen self that all these things that you see around you came? Every luxury car, house, boat, whatever it is you see, was it not created from man? And if it was created from you, how can that which you create be greater than you? And so whenever you have to tell them, stop this foolishness that every one of you have practiced. I want to be rich. I want to have this fancy thing. That is not what God sent you here to do. God sent you to discover the power that is of God that is within you, so that in discovering it, God will take you higher and higher, and you will discover sources of power far, far, far beyond what it is you believe exists. All that exists in this law that I mentioned is all that exists in a lower life. And God looked at the children of God and saw the children of God scrambling and fighting and doing all manner of things for all these things that are lesser than themselves, mean nothing to them. And every way that it tempted them, it became the apple of their eyes. And every way it became the apples of their eyes, they kept pursuing it over and over and over and over again. We did not give them any of these things. For these things that you see in this world are always the way that God wanted the children to learn the ways of God in the evolving consciousness of God, so that they may come to recognize that the power lies within them as a source far greater than what they have been able to access. You don't need any of these things here. So when all the children are rushing and trying to get what they see all the other tribes, God said they do not vibrate at the same levels as you do. And God told the children that you are special, you are different, you are chosen. And because you vibrate at levels far beyond the levels that they can vibrate, because you are celestial beings, they cannot reach heights that you can reach. They cannot access sacred knowledge that you are able to access. And so we say to you, they must stop all this nonsense that they are pursuing. Stop squabbling among each other. When we said to you to tell them, look, when you have give, share, lift up each other, the act of giving is the faith of knowing that whatever you can give, you can also receive. And that in every way that you would give, from the love and goodness within your heart, you will discover that the world gives to you that which is of you given to the world. Because your interaction with the world is based on your actions in the world. And when the children of God did not remember these things, they went doing everything that was despicable before God. And that is why we said to them and to everyone else, nothing here belongs to you. Nothing. It belongs to God. And every way it is God's to give. It is the way that God says to all the children of God, become your brothers and your sisters' keepers. Learn to give and learn to uplift. Learn to love and learn to do good. And the children of God never followed the teachings of God, because the children of God followed the wayward ways of the wayward tribes lesser than themselves. And God says, you keep telling them over and over again, why are you asking this person and that person, this race or that race, this nation's person, for this and for that? Is it theirs to give to you? Is it theirs to give to you? Everything belongs to God. Why do you not say to God, God, I know that in all the ways that they have stolen, plundered, and destroyed what we have, that you, our God, is mighty to give. And God could have shown the children of God, there's no man, no power, no force, no nation on earth that is greater than their Almighty God. And you have to tell them, if you accept that you are the chosen children of your father and mother creator gods, why don't you believe that your chosen parents are able to give to you more than any man or nation can give to you. When we take many of them out, and we will continue to do so, we always show you that when they fail to share what they have with the children do not have, we show them that it couldn't profit them to behave that way. We take and we take and we take. For you say to the children always, in this time, God will test you, and God will test you sorely. And when God finds you wanting, God will take you out. God will take you out. So again, say to them, follow the teachings that God has given unto you, that I bear from my father and my mother to you. Do the things that are right and just in the sight of my father and my mother, God. For everywhere that this world is in the end of its existence, you, like everyone else, is being judged according to your deeds. Turn away from every way that you have been given to know. Turn away from every way. Place your faith and your trust in my Father and my Mother God, that they are also your Father and your Mother God. They will guide you. They will guide you. And they will show you the way to discover how that God that is always unseen and silent in you will become you. The God that projected you in its seen manifesting form will become you. In other words, the holy matrimony of the unseen with the seen self is that which God told you no man can put asunder. So you see, the marriage of man with woman, man with man, is not the holy matrimony. Because you did not learn to spiritualize your thinking, you found yourself believing in the lower ways of a lower life and not the higher ways of a higher life. That is always the way your Almighty Father and Mother God are. When your unseen self becomes joined together with your seen self, that is when you return to being gods and goddesses as man in the flesh. Hiridiro sarigara harakada sikirakono, embergante sikaratunto tikiratatan terokombangaranda sikaraton God. The sacred secrets of all creation are within every one of you. For when you were created, all that which is in sacred knowledge and wisdom was given unto you. And you were the tree of knowledge. I speak to you in all the ways that I have spoken and share the sacred knowledge that comes from the tree of knowledge and wisdom within me, so that your tree within you may begin to slowly manifest from within you, that you may also come to recognize that whatever I am able to be and to know, so are you also able to be and to know. I give you light, more and more light, that in illuminating that which is of the tree of light in you, you may come to know the way in which the Christ Mass or the celebration of your Christ lights are always done. For when you did not remember that the Christ Mass was the celebration of your Christ lights within you, you turned away from it because you believed it was not of you. And God wanted you to know, how else would it have been celebrated if it did not come from you? How else? For was it not you who the Lord thy God, Father and Mother, sent to this valley to give to it a way of life that would become a paradise to all those who were invited to live on earth? Wake up, wake up. Stop debunking the things that you don't know. Search within yourself. The answer is always there. It will teach you why God told you, like everyone else, you're all in the dark. You've all gone the wrong way. You've all gone the way of error. It's time to wake up. It's time to acknowledge the greatness that is of you, that enabled this earth to be the way it is, and to know that every single celebration on earth did not come from any other tribe on earth. It came from you, and you give it to them. So it is not theirs. Regardless of whatever it is yours because you brought it with you and you were given to share it among the several tribes of earth. So it doesn't matter who believes anything. You, the children of God, that are the celestial beings and gods that came here, it is you who give to every tribe on earth that which they practice, that they call their own. It is yours. It is yours. In some of the future sermons I will give to you, there are many things that you have not yet known that I will make known to you, so that you may see clearly and know why it is that you were truly, truly gods and goddesses in the way of man in the flesh.